Hey guys, welcome back. Now this is the ASUS ProDuo UX581 laptop, alright? Now I got this a couple of weeks ago. ASUS sent it over to me to review. And I have to say, having spent a good couple of weeks with it, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I think it's a fantastic idea. But before we talk more about this, I really want to talk about the packaging that it came in. When you open it, when you see the box straight away, it feels extremely premium, and it should be for the price that you have to pay with this, but that later. But yeah, when you open it, the box actually lifts the whole laptop up from the packaging, which is so cool. And this is not a light laptop, right? It's actually pretty heavy, but the box is so sturdy. It just lifts it up, and the whole thing just feels really, really smooth. I was so impressed. Now, what comes in the box is pretty straightforward. Obviously, you get the laptop, you get the brick charger. Now, it also comes with a stylus, which is pretty cool, but unfortunately, ASUS was unable to send that to me. So in this review, I can't really test that out. Okay, now talking about the specs of the computer, you're looking at top-notch CPU, one of the fastest CPUs that you can get around right now. So this one has an i9 9980HK processor, which is like an 8-core processor, which is really, really powerful on a laptop. You're looking at an RTX 2060, and I have a few comments about that later on. It comes with 32 gigabytes of RAM, okay, which is impressive. It comes with a 1 terabyte SSD, also very impressive. But overall, you kind of get the picture. This is a powerhouse. Now, of course, I'm not going to forget about the fact that it's a laptop with 2 screens, okay? Well, I guess you could say 1.5, I don't know. But I mean, let's talk about this one first. So the main screen, okay? This is a 4K screen, and by the way, a 4K beautiful screen. It's Pantone certified, so this is really built for you designers and color sensitive designers out there. But yeah, video editors. And so yeah, it is Pantone certified 4K screen. Now the bottom half screen, or the bottom screen, is also a 4K screen, but 4K in terms of its length. So the number of pixels wide is 3840, but in terms of width, it's about 1100. Now, how is this useful? Now, for any video editing software, you have your preview video, you have the output video, the video that you're going to render, and then you've got your bin of videos, and you've got your timeline. Basically, you can bring it down. I can put my timeline window at the bottom, and I can actually move it with my finger. I can even crop if you're really good at doing that. It's not so easy, but yeah, you can basically crop. And I mean, things like for people who work with photos, for people who work with graphic design or whatever, I'm sure you can find a way to use the bottom screen as well. Now, I have a couple of friends who are graphic designers. They work with After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, and there are a lot of different windows for different functions within that program. And I spoke to all of them and I showed them this over a webcam, and they looked at it and like, oh yeah, I can put this window down. Things like color choosing and all that, and switching. You can just drag the colors. I mean, I'm not really a designer, so I didn't fully understand, but I kind of got the idea that this is really purposefully built for these kind of people in mind. Oh, and also one thing, this whole stand thing. So when you lift up the screen, this screen actually props up the bottom part of the laptop, which is pretty cool, because then it lifts it off the ground, so you get a bit better air circulation, which is really good considering how powerful the components inside are. Now, of course, some compromises would have to have been made to allow the screen to be there in the first place. And yeah, obviously your touchpad, your trackpad is on the right, where your number pad might have been, which honestly at first I didn't quite like. But the more I used it, it didn't take long for me to get used to it, actually, to be honest. Now, speaking of this trackpad, one really cool thing is that it's sort of a hybrid trackpad and number pad. So all you have to do is press the number icon on the top right hand side of the trackpad. You press and hold it, and then it turns on the number pad. So the reason why you press and hold is so that you don't get accidental touches switching it between your trackpad and your number pad. But even if you do, that's not a problem, because even though the number pad is on, the trackpad still works. And honestly, I was trying to get it to do something that I didn't want it to do, but it worked perfectly. I was pressing numbers, and then after I pressed a number, I just like purposefully move my hand to make the mouse cursor move, and it would just automatically switch to a trackpad. Now, there are so many good things to say about this laptop. I mean, everything from the design, the ideas behind the people who engineered this, they're fantastic. The ideas that they came up with is so impressive. However, there are, of course, drawbacks as well. I mean, one thing I realized with the whole design is that I couldn't actually put it on my lap, even though it's a laptop. For two reasons. One, it's kind of heavy, but the heavy one didn't bother me as much. It's more of this design where the stand props the bottom up, so it's kind of sharp, not very sharp, but when it's on your leg, and because it's so heavy, it kind of pushes down your leg after a while. And even if it didn't, because the keyboard is so low on the laptop, you kind of have to move your laptop further away from you on your lap, and then it's just too big to fit on your lap anyway. Well, yeah, but that's not really that big of a problem. The other thing is, okay, both screens, like I said, are absolutely beautiful. Now, they didn't mention whether there was HDR, so I don't think it's about HDR. But what I would say is that colors are excellent, and of course, because it's 99% RGB, it's Pantone certified, so you don't have to worry about that aspect. But even watching shows on it and all that, it's absolutely beautiful. The bottom screen, however, it still reproduces very good colors, but at the right angle. The viewing angle, even though, okay, they're both IPS panels, the problem I had was that the normal way that you would sit down and use a laptop, it's sort of dimmed a bit. You would have to actually go further up and look over. Not too much, but you have to like prop your head up a bit to see the bottom screen in its full color. Now, of course, with this current pandemic, I've been stuck at home, only going out for groceries. So I've been on Zoom calls and Skype calls with a lot of my friends, and I've been showing them over the webcam this laptop. And all of them ask me the same thing. The first question they ask is, can you game on this? Well, technically you can. It's got a RTX 2060, which is not it's not a weak chip. It's a pretty good chip. And on most laptops, it would be fine. It would be perfect. The problem with an RTX 2060 on this laptop is that it's a 4K screen, okay? And RTX 2060 works really well on a full HD screen, so like a 1920 by 1080 resolution. On a 4K screen, it kind of struggles a bit if you play anything more. If you play anything more than like, I don't know, like esports titles, Dota, PUBG and all that, it's fine. Obviously, it's gonna work fine. Even on Overwatch, it kind of stuttered a bit. Then when you get to AAA titles, you're not gonna get a good experience on anything above, I would say, maybe medium settings because of the resolution. Now, some of you would say, yeah, you can just lower the resolution of the game and it'll be fine. And two issues with that. One is, if you do that, then why would you want to get this laptop? And two, it makes it a bit difficult because when you switch between the game and your windows, if they're both the same resolution, it's quite quick. But when one is a lower resolution than the other, then there's a bit of lag and it has to keep switching resolution, and it's not going to be fun for you. Okay, so now the other thing about this laptop, it is not cheap, okay? Now, obviously, it's not going to be like the mothership price. Like ASUS ROG mothership was like something like $10,000 at the time of filming. It's about half of that, but that's still $5,000 for a laptop. All right, my whole PC where I game and video edit, which is more powerful than this, costs about $1,000 less. Does it mean that it's not worth a buy? Well, definitely it does. There are a lot of people who have certain situations of why they would need something like this. Like when I was at the recent One Esports Dota 2 Invitational, I think it was like June last year or something, and I covered that event. So when I was in the media room, I actually saw a couple of people with this kind of Pro 2 Duo laptops, and I asked them, are you reviewing it? And they're like, no, they actually bought it. And they said that it's been a dream to use. I mean, it's given them the functionality and the portability that they never had before. Well, when I say that portability, I mean portability versus the functionality that they have. They have extra screen. They've made it easier for them to do work on the go. And for something that's this powerful, it has actually pretty good battery life. And of course, you've got the ASUS brand and the ASUS build quality. Now, when I actually did the review of the mothership, I also showed my old gaming laptop, which is an ASUS ROG laptop. It's the ASUS G550JK. And I bought that almost 6 years ago, very close, like a month to 6 years ago, okay? And it still works really, really well. The only reason I don't use that is because I have a gaming PC now. But yeah, it works perfectly fine. It still looks very good. I mean, I could buy it right now and it still looks just as beautiful as some of the newer laptops. And now my wife uses it as her work from home PC. But yeah, it works perfectly fine. The only change I made was that I swapped the mechanical hard disk for an SSD. But in terms of build quality, in terms of the design, I would say right now ASUS really does the best job. Now, what if you really want this sort of thing, but you don't want to spend $5,000? Now you're in luck, almost. Now ASUS also has the ASUS Duo, not Pro Duo, the ASUS Duo UX581. Okay, so what you get for that is a slightly smaller laptop. So this one is 15 inches, that one is 14 inches. Okay, but you still get the dual screen, so you still get the screen on top, you still get the bottom screen, still Pantone certified. The only difference is that that one has a full HD screen and a full HD bottom, but like I said, the resolution is going to be a bit different, but they're basically both full HD screens, which is great. So, and that's only about 2,200 Singapore dollars, well, only compared to this being more than double the price. The flip side of that is that in terms of graphics, uses an NVIDIA MX250, which it is not even a low-end, it is barely a graphics chip, okay? It's not something I would recommend for anyone who wants to game. I mean, even on like certain games like Shadow the Tomb Raider, you get like 22 FPS on like medium settings, I think. It's barely a graphics chip. So yeah, you suffer from that lack of graphics again, whereas this one has a pretty good graphics card, but not good enough for 4K screen. I don't know if they are going to come up with a newer model, but if they do, what I would like to see is actually them switch to AMD. If they switch to AMD, like the newest mobile chips that they have, they've been given rave reviews. And you put that with a better graphics card, and then I would say that this would be a top-notch laptop. So for the next generation, I really hope they move to AMD. Yeah, so overall, if I were to give a rating for this, I would give it maybe a 3.5 out of 5. I love the design. I really, really do. And I think, and I hope that ASUS doesn't like get rid of this idea, because it really, really works for quite a few people. But yeah, in terms of this, I feel like the graphics is lacking. It's a little bit too expensive. But yeah, so if the next generation they improve on that, and once again if they move to a Ryzen chip, it would definitely get better ratings. Alright, so that about wraps up my review of the ASUS Pro Duo UX581. Now if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.